Good morning. We're Sumner and Markwalter, and we joined Reed about 4 years ago, shortly after we moved to Augusta. We do have two boys, Joe and Hart, and they do love being active participants in church as well. It is a huge challenge for me personally to speak for 2 to 3 minutes on why we love Reed and what it has done for us. We could go on all day. I promise we will not, Mike. I was asked once to describe how I felt about the services at Reed, and I just very simply said, I leave on Sundays wanting to go out and spread love. I wrote down the words Dr. Rich said once in a sermon, and they went something like this: to flow out into the streets with joy and hope and new life. What a wonderful place to be that makes us feel that way. This week, I was talking to a dear friend and church member, and she and I were discussing the power of messages and signs when we're open to receiving them. And it made me recall when I told Mike, I'm not sure what we would say. He said, it will come to you. So we did do a lot of deep thinking about what we would say today and why we give to this church. And we just kept coming back to this one word, love. How much love we have for this place as a whole, how much love we have for our friends we've met here, the words we hear on Sundays, the ways in which this church serves our community, and most importantly, the love of Christ that we feel is very present in this place. Love is not a fancy word. I'd really try to think of something more poignant, because I know we all think about love when we think about this place, but it is just still that one word we kept coming back to, and we couldn't get out of our heads. We could tell 1,000 stories about Reed that tie to this particular word. So on Tuesday, I was putting our son Hart to bed, and he said, out of the blue, because your love is better than life, my lips will glorify you. This verse from Psalms just happened to be the verse of the week at his school. And I really believe Hart, maybe with God whispering in the background, solidified for me that this is what we were supposed to say. Love was supposed to be the focus, and love is why we give. We received other messages of love this week in different ways from our church too. An offer to pick our children up in time to get them to Bible study. A conversation with our church friends about the importance of hospitality and caring and being a good friend. And then I was finishing up and pulling all of our final words together, and I saw a message from an author I love, Bob Goff, and it said, let love be your plan. We say all the time that this church was the reason we feel so welcome in Augusta in such a short time. One of the first tasks when we moved to Augusta was finding a school for our son Joe, who was 4 at the time. His teacher happened to be Anna Sanders. So on the first day of class, I remember talking about churches, and she said, you should try Reed, we really like it. Her words led us to this church. God was sending us that love message, and I'm glad we listened.
Only 12 more minutes. Love is very difficult to describe. We tell our sons, Joe and Hart, every day that we love them more than we could tell them. When they're behaving, of course. Our 4-year-old Hart tells us that love means hugs. Lately he says 135. Maybe that's percent, but it's big to him. This morning we asked them what they loved most about Reed, and they said the cookies. But for us, the emotion that surfaces, like real friendship, song or music that may evoke a memory or a current reality, perhaps a sermon that hits a love nerve, witnessing acts of kindness, the knot in your throat, the watery eyes, that is the feeling, that is the love that we easily identify when people ask us about the people of Reed Memorial. So step by step, as a family, we do feel that we are on our way, growing with this church. Our faith is growing alongside the members of this church. We realize that we are the caretakers of this church. And truly, we are the caretakers of each other, our loved ones at Reed. Love is being a caretaker. We believe in honoring and giving back to the places that have shaped our lives. That may be your high school, a college, an organization, a charity that has an emotional connection, the people that have made an impact on you. Reed is shaping our lives every day, and we see the value in how Reed will continue to shape the lives of our children. We are forever grateful that God led us to Reed and gave us that gift and the gifts that God gives us every day, because His love is greater than life. We will let love be our plan as we give back to this church. So we pray that you will join us today and with all the love that you have for this place in taking the next steps together in following Christ and making a pledge. Thank you.